Hello, friends, and welcome to The Corporation, the podcast that's too fun to fail. Each episode, we speak to employees of Hogswood-Cooper Media, the global conglomerate that operates everything from offshore oil rigs to fast food restaurants to Hollywood studios, and we celebrate the people who make HCM so successful. I'm your host, Dean Ardenfell. Let's get into it. Our first guest is the regional manager of Windfall Dairy Industrial Corporation, one of the largest farm management and animal product distribution conglomerates in the contiguous United States. She's also an author, having written the book, The New Food Pyramid, a restructuring of conventional dietary norms. Please welcome Trinity Burbury.
Thank you, Dean. I'm pretty excited to be here. Glad you got my book title out right.
Excellent. Well, I try to get the details right with my guests, and it's exciting to have you here. So why don't you talk a little bit about what your job is out there in the farming world? It's very exciting.
Dean, it is exciting, and what you need to know is that the cows we work with are just as important as the people that we work with.
Of course.
And I can't have anybody out there thinking otherwise.
Of course. Why would they? I mean, I know there's a lot of naysayers and a lot of trolls online talking about the size of the space that a dairy cow or a beef cow needs. Is that what they're called? Beef cows?
Yes, beef cows, lady cows.
Mm-hmm.
They're all different genders of cows, all different.
Is beef a gender? Is beef a cow gender?
We usually refer to it as beef if it's a male cow.
I see. And female if it's dairy, or dairy if it's female?
Female if it's dairy.
I see. Okay. You'll just have to bear with me because all I know is what I pull off the shelf when I go to the grocery store. And I pull off 2% milk and put it on my cereal by myself in the morning in my studio apartment. So I just want to ask a little about, you're a regional manager, which means you probably go from farm to farm. And
I do my fair share of bopping from farm to farm. I like to experience what the cows experience on their journeys.
What types of things do you do to experience what cows experience?
We usually put them in the front seat, give them a whole vantage point, and
see, this is so interesting to me.
Yes.
Because I was thinking when you first, you were saying, I like to experience what the cows experience, that you might put yourself in their shoes. But it seems like you're actually putting them in yours by putting them in the front seat of your car and driving them around.
I'm not going to lie. I know what you're alluding to.
I'm...
the photo.
Well, I didn't want to bring it up.
Let's clear the air. Okay, Dean. Mm-hmm. Yes, there is a photo of me and a cow riding in a van together, and
the cow is inexplicably in the driver's seat, and this was taken by a camera over an intersection, the ones that they catch speeders with, and so it's very clear in the photo that the cow is the one behind the steering wheel and you're in the passenger seat. So this is your chance to clear the air and explain what was happening, if you want to. I don't want to pressure you.
No, I want to. It's emotional for me.
I'm sure.
That cow that was a beef cow, and
so a boy. So a boy.
It was a boy cow,
boy
and I knew he would not be producing milk that day.
That day.
It's possible that the beef cows have certain days when they produce milk. But that's not the point. This particular beef cow, he looked me in the eye before we were about to get in the van, and he bore into my soul, and then it's possible.
I have no idea what you're about to say next, and I'm on the edge of my seat. I will tell you that.
I'm gonna just admit it. He was convinced by my beauty to drive me to a motel.
Oh, no. So you inferred from a look that the boy cow gave you.
Beef cow.
The beef cow. That he was so enamored of you and your wiles that he needed to be in the driver's seat in order to drive you to a motel and have his way with you.
We got to the motel, and what happened at the motel is not appropriate for
I'm
listeners.
not interested in, obviously opening up that wound.
Thank you.
I want to real quickly, before we bring on our second guest, ask you about your book, The New Food Pyramid, A Restructuring of Conventional Dietary Norms. And it's my understanding that you've sort of turned the old food pyramid that we know and love upside down and inside out. And I'm just wondering what the tenets of your food pyramid, based on your research in the dairy industry and the meat industry, has yielded.
In fact, it's no longer a pyramid, it's a circle. And we've filled the entirety of the circle minus one sliver with dairy. We have done multiple studies, and it is without a doubt that the more dairy you eat, the more likely you are to participate.
Participate in
the
human experience?
Exactly. Participate in the human experience, participate in your relationships, participate at work. It motivates you.
Okay, so what we're talking about is not so much a physiological or biological health circle, so much as a participation circle.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's
so you can make your diet optimized for doing things in life.
Yeah.
And not doing things.
I mean, I'm going to ask you a question, Dean. What is the number one thing holding you back from accomplishing your dreams?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it's motivation.
Okay, is it?
It's motivation. How many people do you know that want to do something and they just can't get themselves out of bed?
Sure. Oh, we all have problems with motivation.
Incorporate dairy into your life. See what happens.
Is that so?
Every meal.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Absolutely. And I'm wondering, I think as our listeners are, what that other sliver is in the circle.
We have also noticed that the human body does need just a little bit of salt.
That's true. I know that that's true. Yes. We can't survive without it physically.
Absolutely.
Okay. So heed that call, listeners, and get yourself some dairy and a little bit of salt and get yourself up off the couch. And with that, we're going to turn to our other second guest here. Our second guest is the creator and host of Bang Safely, the wildly popular children's television program on GunsPlus, the streaming service for gun owners and gun enthusiasts. His character, Good Guy Gus, teaches young people about responsible self-protection through fun games and silly songs. Please welcome Gus Gransom. Hello, Gus.
Good to be here, Dan.
It's great to have you. Now, I think this is just so interesting. And of course, we're going to open it up here as well to Trinity, and she can pop in here and ask questions of Gus as well. This is all a big conversation. Gus, how did you come up with the idea for this innovative show for youngsters?
Well, I live a very simple philosophy. The only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a toddler with a gun.
Okay.
So you gotta start them young.
Taking the old good guy with a gun thing and...
Good guy. I've never heard that.
No?
Good guy with a gun? You talking about me? Good Guy Gus is the name.
Yeah, that's your character's name on the children's television program. But I figured that was an allusion to a good guy with a gun. But you made up this phrase. The only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a toddler with a gun.
Yeah, that is trademarked. Every time you say that, I do get paid. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. We'll try to say it a few more times in this interview. Maybe get you hooked up here.
Thank you.
So you're an advocate, a strong, staunch advocate of putting guns in the hands of children as early as possible. Why is that?
100%. Just because I believe you need to start them young if you want them to know what they're going to do with the gun. Okay? I don't want to bring up any bad memories, or you said you didn't want to talk about it, but Tiffany here, you were saying
Trinity.
that... I don't know names good. I just know guns and kids.
Right.
You said that you and the beef cow... there was a little romp in the motel. Now, do you have a gun?
No, I don't carry one.
That's your problem right there. If you'd been started young with a gun, that cow never would have gotten the hoof on you.
It was completely consensual, and I still stand
Okay,
by
well,
not
either way, guns kind of spice up the bedroom, I find. So it would have been cool if you had one.
Right. Okay. And I know that you have a cast of about 8 children who are on the show with you, and you play games and you do things. How is it working with those children, and how do you find kids that want to be on a show like that?
It's a blast. I take them.
You take them?
Yeah, you got it. You see a kid in public, you're like, hey, it's a pretty cool kid. You take them. It's pretty easy because more often than not, and this is my point, the parent, see, I have a gun.
Right.
So I get what I want is pretty much what I'm saying. The parents often don't have guns, never heard of the show, don't know who I am. The kids are crying, and then I eventually...
In that scenario, wouldn't you be technically the bad guy with the gun as you are kidnapping children?
I don't see that.
And no one has ever stood up to you, no toddler or adult has ever stood up to you and said, I'm a good guy with a gun and I'm keeping my child.
That's what I want. I think in the future, it'll be hard to do this, but my show is teaching, the new generation that people can't take your kids. You got to have a gun.
Right. Too many people are losing their kids because they didn't have a gun on them.
And I would like to say real quick while I'm on the air, just thank you to Sarah and John Greensfield of Northern Massachusetts. They gave me their kid willingly, and that was very nice. They were a big fan of the show. Nice. They had a gun, but they respected the art, and they handed Timmy right over. So thank you guys. That was nice of them.
Well, it must be nice for you also to have at least one willing child on the show.
Well, no, see, the child did not want to come. It was the parents were totally on board. So it is hard. The first couple episodes each season are pretty rough, but the kids eventually calm down.
I binged the whole season. I gotta say, it's really interesting to watch the emotional arc of the children during the show.
If you don't take away gun safety, you at least see quite an arc of the kids. They come around.
That's true. Now I know you write all your own songs on the show, and I want to. I'm not going to ask you to sing them here because I know you don't have your guitar unless you want to. But I know you've got a few. I'm just going to list off a couple of these titles, and maybe you can tell me a little about what they're about and what you're trying to teach the children with them. The one that I loved that was a real toe tapper to me was "Take the Safety Off."
That's
love
because
that one.
More often than not, an intruder breaks into your house. You go and get the gun. Safety's on. In the moment, you don't remember how to take that safety off.
Right.
There's an intruder in the kitchen.
Yep.
If the safety was already off, the gun would be primed and ready to go. It's a safer way to live.
That's the Boy Scouts right there. Be prepared, right?
I was kicked out of Boy Scouts.
You were.
Yeah, they don't allow guns.
Oh, so you've had guns all the way back to Boy Scouts?
Yeah, I was. This is a little behind the scenes. I was a child with a gun from a very young age, and I think that's how my life is. How do I put this? Perfect. And I think that if more kids at young ages had guns, their lives would be perfect too. And I want to see a perfect America. And I think kids with guns is, I don't want to say an ideal future, but it's the only future I see.
That's excellent. And that's the future that you paint with your show and with the whole GunsPlus network. The whole family of shows over there is really working to achieve that. How do you respond to, there are all sorts of scientific studies that say that if there's a gun in the household and someone breaks in, that there's a greater chance that, you've heard the argument, right? That the owner of the house or their children will be the ones to be injured or killed. How do you respond to that?
Well, a lot of times people send me articles about that. And to be frank with you, I don't know how to read. So I just it means nothing to me. I can't believe everything people tell you. So I think that's total lie.
So not a single word, huh? You don't know how to read a single
no
English word.
That's
at all.
I know gun and I know Gus. That's only because they're one letter different. They're both pretty easy to get.
Okay, so you've got a basic 4-letter vocabulary.
Gun, yes, yeah. Any combination of G, U, S, and N, I understand. Guns is easy too. I know how to. Guns is a good word.
Well, you could also spell sun.
Wow, like a child.
Snug.
Oh, there we go. We got a language nerd over here. Trinity is popping back into the conversation.
I totally forgot you were here. I am mostly blind. That was a gun accident in season 1.
I remember that season, and it was very disturbing, and the children seemed to really react to it.
The producers don't like a blind gun advocate handling weapons around children on live television, but I think...
You know what? If the producers can't handle a blind, illiterate kidnapper running a gun show on their show, they should fire you, right? And they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, good luck. Okay.
What about the song, What Was That Noise Downstairs?
So that is actually...
I love
many
that
people
one.
who, for your first listen through, it's one of those songs where every time you hear it, you learn something new.
Yeah.
And based on the title, people think it's about an intruder breaking into your house. You're upstairs. It's actually a song from the perspective of the parents asleep upstairs and the child downstairs with a gun stopping the intruder.
Okay.
So the noise was the gun.
Was the gun going off and the toddler saving the family from the intruder.
And I'll be honest, a lot of toddlers cry when they fire that. It's a loud noise. They get thrown back quite a ways. It's
Sure.
a real,
Oh yeah. Well, that's why you put the gym mats on the walls, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I also, with every gun sale I make, we do sell them on live television. I throw in a couple gym mats just because safety first.
Safety
bang
first.
safely.
Bang safely. Absolutely. What are your thoughts on this, Trinity? Are you have any questions for our guest? Or
I'm quite impressed. I myself never thought I would be a gun owner, and I have seen your program. I didn't realize a woman of my age could still access a gun. I thought.
You are a little old. This is, I think, guns. I don't think that it's children should have guns. I think only children should have guns.
Oh, really?
Until they mature. Basically, you can't start owning a gun as an adult. You won't know what to do.
Yeah, it's like picking up a language.
Yes, because much like you see the cows like they're people, I in a weird way I see children as people.
Is that so?
Oh.
And I think that those are just tiny little people.
I mean, if we have any common ground here, it's that both of my guests today have put things in their car and driven away with them that did not belong to them.
Without a doubt.
And so you're saying that children are people too, just like she's saying cows are people too.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, that's why I love this show. It just brings people together and it makes people from different worlds really get on the same page. And I really appreciate that. I mean, I'm going to widen, broaden my sexual experiences to possibly include other species if
they are
consenting.
That's the thing.
I'm definitely going to get myself a toddler.
But not for the sexual stuff.
No,
okay,
not at all.
The
but
producers are very adamant on that.
No. What I was going to say was I was going to get myself a gun, and then I realized, well, I'm an adult, and you're saying I can't. So what I really need is a toddler to have a gun to protect my home, and so I'll need to find one. But I'm sure you know the places.
Farmers markets, Gray Escape, family-oriented activities.
Absolutely. Well, maybe we could. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but maybe just a bar of Stand Your Ground would be just like, I'm such a fan, and I'm just, maybe just like a little taste of how, for our listeners, just
I don't
to send them over to GunsPlus and put down your $14.99 on GunsPlus because it's absolutely worth it for just this moment right here. Just these.
I'll do a little taste. Shoot the intruder every round. Don't come in, just stand your ground.
Yeah. It's so good.
That's
it's
it.
so good.
Just
so
like
good.
the show.
Yeah, it is a 12-minute song, so that's a very small snippet.
Right. And there are so many verses, and that's par for the course for you. I mean, you've got so many good, rich lyrics and great ideas. And for someone who's, never seen anything more than 4 letters in the English language before, you're really good with words.
Yeah. Oh, I don't write my own songs.
I thought, no?
I think the words, and someone else has to write them because I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm over here, by the way. You're looking at the wall behind me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, this has been an absolute delight. I thank you both. This is about all the time we have for today on The Corporation. I want to thank my guests, Trinity Burbury and Gus Gransom, also known as Good Guy Gus, for being with us today, and our listeners for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, and email me at deanardenfell@hotmail.com. As they say at HCM, we're interested in you. Cheers.
The Corporation is a presentation of Unicow Media. This episode was recorded at the studios of Vermont Comedy Club. Dean Ardenfell was played by Nathan Hartswick. Trinity Burbury was played by Ricky Baker, and Gus Gransom was played by Jared Hall. Listen to new episodes of The Corporation every Tuesday on iTunes and Spotify. For more information about shows, classes, and other great stuff, visit vtcomedy.com.